Dear Leo, let me ask you something bold. What if the 6 numbers that could change your entire life forever have already been revealed to you in spirit before you even press play on this video? Because the truth is, this is not a coincidence. This is a divine alignment, and this very moment is part of a greater prophecy that dates back to the visions of Nostradamus himself. For the next 3 days, August 8 through 10, a sacred window opens just for you, Leo. The sun, your ruler, is dancing in rare harmony with Jupiter, the planet of blessings, breakthroughs, and fortune. This exact alignment hasn't happened like this in years. And under its light, 6 sacred numbers have surfaced, each carrying not just energy, but encoded keys that can unlock healing, abundance, and clarity in your life. In fact, some believe these numbers may hold the power to manifest as much as $5 million in value over time when used with intention and integrity. But let's pause here. Because I'm not just here to impress you with astrology. I'm here, as someone in the top 0.1% of this field, to walk with you through something much deeper than a prediction. This is about transformation. This is about purpose. This is about listening to that quiet voice inside that has been whispering, "There's more waiting for you." And now, for the first time in a long time, the cosmos is answering back. So if something in your chest just tightened, if your stomach fluttered or your hands felt warmer, that's not your imagination. That's alignment. That's the invisible thread pulling you toward your destiny. And if you're still watching, you've already said yes on a soul level. Let me welcome you to Eternal Mindfulness, a sacred space for divine timing, emotional healing, and spiritual activation. Whether you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or secretly hopeful for a breakthrough, this space is for you. Let me take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for your presence here. Every like, every comment you choose to share, every subscription that brings you closer to this growing family at Eternal Mindfulness. It matters. It allows us to continue delivering messages that don't just inform but heal. And trust me, Leo, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of this video. Because what the universe is revealing through these 6 numbers is truly extraordinary. So tell me, Leo, what did you feel, or hear, or see lately that drew you here today? Was it a dream? A strange number you kept seeing? A whisper in your spirit? Because the energy doesn't lie. You are being called forward. Not as a follower but as a co-creator of your next chapter. And now, as we prepare to dive into the hidden power of these numbers, I want to offer you this invitation. Comment below to affirm your readiness. Say it with power, "I claim the energy of these 6 numbers as mine." Because this is no longer about waiting. It's about remembering who you are. Stay with me. Let's decode what the universe has tailor-made for your heart, your wallet, your body, and your soul. Everything begins now. Leo, you've always been the one who carries light not just as a symbol of strength or leadership, but as a living embodiment of what it means to shine from within. And right now, the universe isn't just nudging you. It's speaking directly to your solar essence. As someone who has spent decades reading cosmic signatures and guiding others through transformational seasons, I want to show you why this moment, these precise days in Augustus, a sacred invitation for you to rise, not with force, but with alignment. The sun, your ruling planet, is at the heart of everything. It governs vitality, purpose, radiance. When it moves into a supportive aspect with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, blessing, divine opportunity, it's like striking a match inside the soul of a fire sign. But this is no ordinary flame. It's a call to embody your greatness without apology, without waiting for permission, and without hiding behind humility that no longer serves you. You see, Leo isn't just ruled by the sun. Leo is the sun. And when the sun aligns with Jupiter, there's an opening, a bright corridor through which courage becomes currency, and generosity becomes magnetism. This isn't about ego. This is about sacred confidence. The kind of trust that says, I don't need to fight for what's mine. I only need to be ready to receive it. And here's the deeper layer most miss. While the Sun and Jupiter create this majestic opening for abundance and visibility, the Moon quietly slips into your 6th house, the domain of daily rituals, health, and the systems that sustain your fire. This is significant. It means the blessings coming your way are not random, they are the result of who you're becoming every day behind the scenes. Not the grand performances, but the prayers whispered between breaths. The boundaries you've been learning to set. The small decisions you've been making in silence to care for yourself, even when no one is watching. This is the holy paradox of your astrology right now. The grandest rewards are coming to the Leo who dares to be both royal and real. You're not being called to dominate. You're being asked to root down into your being and let the fruit speak for itself. It's the quiet boldness of self-worth, the clarity that comes when you stop chasing recognition and realize you are already seen. And let's go deeper still. So many of you have been walking through long seasons of pressure, financial tension, hidden anxiety, the exhaustion of pretending you're fine when you're not. And I see that. I know what it feels like to smile in the sun while silently holding grief in your shadow. But the cosmos doesn't abandon you in that space. It meets you there. Just as the Creator never designed light to overpower darkness, but to coexist, heal, and reveal what's ready to be transformed. In faith-based healing, we often talk about sowing seeds during the dry season. It's in the waiting that roots deepen. And now, with this rare alignment, the harvest begins. What you planted in tears is ready to rise in clarity, strength, and even surprise. But you must stay open. You must believe again. Because what's arriving isn't about performance. It's about presence. So when I say that 6 numbers are coming to you not as a lottery gimmick, but as sacred energetic codes, I'm saying, the universe is putting tools in your hand. And not because you fought for them, but because your soul remembered its readiness. These numbers are not magic in themselves. They reflect what already lives inside you: discernment, healing, leadership, forgiveness, vitality, grace. Leo, you are not being chosen because you are the strongest. You are being chosen because you are finally soft enough to lead with light. And just like a candle doesn't need to scream to illuminate a room, neither do you. Your alignment is your power. Your stillness is your answer. Your warmth is your wealth. Let the light do what it's here to do, not dazzle, but awaken. Not every number has a soul. But the 6 sacred numbers that have arrived for Leo during this rare alignment are not random, they are frequencies, encoded with meaning, memory, and momentum. They are echoes of who you've been and premonitions of who you're becoming. Each one, when decoded with love and discernment, holds within it a gentle instruction from the universe: you are ready for more. These numbers don't just forecast luck. They reveal inner portals, reflecting not just future outcomes, but current patterns that once brought to awareness can begin to shift in ways that are both mystical and measurable. Let's begin with the number 18. In numerology, 18 is a number of completion, but not in a final way. It marks the end of a cycle that has served its time, especially when it comes to how you've related to money, worth, and legacy. For Leo, this number surfaces now to say, the era of carrying old financial burdens or inherited scarcity is closing. But not through force. Through grace. Through softness. Through the art of choosing rest as an act of courage. This is a number that invites you to remember that sometimes, healing your relationship with abundance means stepping back, allowing your nervous system to exhale, and receiving without hustle. When you embrace the silence that comes with stillness, you open the door for unseen support, ancestral blessings, cosmic timing, or perhaps a nudge from someone who sees the light in you and wants to help without conditions. Sometimes money doesn't come through effort. It comes through alignment. The number 7 brings in a shift in the frequency. It's about discernment. In astrology and numerology, 7 represents the seeker, the one who must choose with depth, not with haste. Leo, you are often guided by the heart, but now you're being asked to engage your wisdom. Where have you been pouring your energy without receiving? What contracts, energetic or literal, have overstayed their welcome? This number urges a detox, both physical and emotional. A warm lemon water in the morning may seem simple, but it's a symbolic act of cleansing. A salt bath is more than self-care, it's a statement that your body is a temple, not a storage unit for unresolved stress. Decisions made this week, under the influence of 7, have long-lasting impact. Choose with clarity, not fear. Then there's 29. A number that blends the spiritual compassion of 2 with the bold leadership of 9. Together, they make a frequency that asks you to let your heart lead again. If you've been guarding your emotions, avoiding the very thing that wants to heal you, this is the moment to let go. Not everything that ends is a failure. Sometimes the end is a graduation. The heart is a channel for abundance, and this number reminds you that if you're not emotionally open, financial flow can stagnate. Write down what you've been holding in. Let the pain speak its piece. You don't have to publish it. Just witness it. And as you do, you'll feel space opening inside you, a space that money, love, and peace can now enter. The number 11 needs no introduction. It's a master number, the number of divine communication. Leo, this is your cosmic microphone. For the next 3 days, your words hold more weight than you realize. Speak kindly to yourself. Speak vision into your plans. And when you don't know what to say, be silent with reverence. Your journaling now is not just for healing. It's for anchoring. This is the number of manifestation through language. So guard your speech. Write blessings. And remember, words are spells, especially when spoken from a heart on fire with purpose. The number 5 comes in like a breeze after a long heat wave. It brings motion. Change. A chance to break out of routines that have become too tight for the version of you that's now emerging. You might receive an invitation, a surprising message, or even just a new idea that makes your heart race. Follow it. Take the walk. Accept the call. Book the ticket. Your body wants to move because your energy is evolving. This number reminds you that manifestation is not just about meditation, it's also about momentum. When your cells are moving, your aura expands. And when your aura expands, you attract without effort. Lastly, the number 30, perhaps the most gentle of them all. 30 whispers of timing. Of slow magic. Of the harvest that always comes when the soul stops trying to speed things up. This number reminds you that what's meant for you cannot be lost, but it can be delayed by doubt. If you've been waiting on results, news, payments, or healing, this is your reminder that the wait is not punishment. It's preparation. The right things will bloom at the right time, and often just when you stop obsessing over them. Let patience be your practice this week. Watch how the energy returns when you stop trying to control what already belongs to you. And just like sacred threads woven through a divine tapestry, these numbers are not separate, they are relational. Together, they form a prism through which light can bend into purpose. This is the essence of co-creation. When you work with their frequency, when you carry them with reverence, not superstition but intention, you become the steward of your own fortune. Not because you force outcomes, but because you align your body, your voice, your emotions, your choices, your steps, and your stillness with the rhythm of divine unfolding. Leo, you are being called to remember the elegance of divine timing. Not everything has to be chased. Some things arrive when you finally create enough peace for them to land. These 6 numbers are not just signs. They are seeds. Plant them in your life through action, attention, and faith. And watch what blooms when you water them with gentleness and truth. When it comes to working with energy, intention is everything. Energy without direction is like sunlight scattered, it warms, but it doesn't ignite. But energy directed with conscious, symbolic action becomes a focused beam of flame, a shift, a movement. And Leo, right now you are being asked not only to listen, but to participate. These 6 numbers aren't just predictions or passive symbols. They are living frequencies. And when met with ritual, reverence, and repetition, they begin to shape the very field around you. That's why we don't simply receive these numbers. We activate them. Through the ancient language of symbols and the subtle physics of alignment, we begin to build a bridge between the inner world of belief and the outer reality of manifestation. Writing these numbers by handies, with a pen on plain white papyrus, not a superstition. It's a choice to slow down and connect mind with body. It tells your nervous system, this matters. The blue ink, calm and fluid, channels your clarity and truth. And when you pair each number with a word or phrase that holds emotional resonance, something like release, courage, abundance, or ease, you transform those digits into declarations. Into prayers made visible. Once you've written them, folding the paper is not just a practical gesture, it's an act of containment. You're not hiding the power. You're focusing it. By keeping this folded paper close to your body, in your wallet, under your pillow, inside your journal, you're carrying a small, magnetic reminder of the future you are building. Every time your hand brushes against it, every time your eyes catch the corner of that folded sheet, you reawaken the frequency. It becomes an anchor. A symbol. A whisper to your subconscious, I am calling it in. But energy responds best when it is guided by rhythm. That's why we move into action over 3 sacred days. On August 8th, under the energy of 18, we pause to breathe deeply, to meditate, to listen. The number 18, as you've learned, invites stillness, closure, and the quiet trust that unseen help is near. So on this day, I ask you to simply sit, to place your hand over your heart, to whisper your willingness to receive. That's all. Because receptivity is not weakness, it's divine intelligence. On August 9th, with the numbers 7 and 29, we shift from stillness into conscious choice. Maybe it's a decision you've been avoiding, or a conversation you need to have. Maybe it's applying for something you don't feel quite ready for. But this is the day to act. Not to wait for a sign, but to be the sign. And as you take that action, hold the image of those two numbers in your mind, not as pressure, but as partnership. Then, on August 10th, we move into embodiment. With 11, 5, and 30, the theme becomes expression, momentum, and reward. This is the time to write, to declare, to state clearly, either in a notebook, a voice memo, or even aloud to yourself, 3 commitments you are making to your future. Not vague wishes. Commitments. Say them with fire. Say them with love. Because the universe doesn't require perfection, but it does respond to clarity. These simple steps may seem symbolic, but don't let the simplicity fool you. In energy work, it is often the smallest rituals done with sincerity that yield the most lasting shifts. Think of this as tending a garden. The numbers are seeds. Your attention is the water. Your action is the sunlight. And your belief? That's the soil where it all takes root. In this chaotic, ever-moving world, the act of intentional ritual becomes a sanctuary. A moment of sacred pause amidst the noise. When life feels overwhelming, these practices give your mind something to hold on to and your heart something to trust in. Not because they fix everything instantly, but because they remind you you are not powerless. You are not lost. You are already participating in your healing, your expansion, your future. So Leo, if something inside of you stirred as you imagined yourself moving through these steps, if a quiet yes rose in your chest or your palms tingled with anticipation, then you know what to do next. This is your time. Not to chase miracles, but to claim the space in which they can land. To open your palms. To plant the code. And to watch how your external life begins to rise up to meet the internal choice you've made. If you are ready to participate in your destiny, not just dream about it, invite you to say it. Speak it. Write it below as a living affirmation of your power. I activate my golden code. Let it be your vow. Let it be your offering. Let it be the moment everything began to shift. Even the most radiant soul can be dimmed by invisible burdens. And Leo, although your essence is built on light and the power to lead, to shine, to uplift, there are times when the very flame you carry becomes clouded. Not because you are weak, but because you are human. And that humanness, that tender vulnerability beneath your strength, is where real transformation begins. It's important to understand that abundance is not just about money. It's about permission. Permission to feel worthy. Permission to be seen. Permission to receive without guilt. And more often than not, it's not the external obstacles that block that flow, it's the internal ones. These are the hidden saboteurs, the quiet beliefs that whisper, not yet, not you, or worse, you don't deserve it. And if we don't name them, they grow roots. Deep roots. The first is self-doubt. It rarely enters loudly. It doesn't shout in your mind. It slips in softly, showing up as hesitation, procrastination, the constant question of whether you're doing enough. But underneath all of it is the ancient wound of unworthiness. And here's the truth, until you believe you're worthy of holding more, your energy will reject it, even if your mouth is asking for it. This is why affirmation is not some hollow practice. It is retraining the brain, retraining the field around you. Every day, write it. Speak it. Anchor it in your body. I am worthy of receiving $5 million. Not because it's a fantasy, but because it shifts the way you walk through your life. Worthiness is not something you earn. It's something you remember. The second obstacle lies in the people around you. We are energetic beings, constantly absorbing and exchanging vibrations with our environment. Some people, consciously or not, carry heavy frequencies. Their words might sound kind, but their energy may carry jealousy, scarcity, or control. Pay attention to how you feel after you've spent time with someone. Do you feel smaller? Less inspired? Disoriented? If so, it's not about blame. It's about boundaries. It's okay to love people from a distance. Not everyone is meant to walk beside you into your expansion. Choose those whose presence feels like sunlight, not shadow. The third and perhaps most subtle block is knowing what to do but not doing it. This form of spiritual stagnation often wears the mask of waiting for the right time. But waiting, when stretched too far, becomes a hiding place. In energy work, delay equals decay. When you stall, your frequency dulls. The solution is not to overwhelm yourself with massive action, but to choose one small act of courage. Set a timer for 7 minutes. In that time, take one step toward the life you say you want. Send the message. Review the application. Move your body. Speak the affirmation. Magic happens when we move even just a little. To bring all this into healing, I invite you to go within. Not with judgment, but with curiosity. Take a quiet moment to write the answers to these 3 questions. What am I truly afraid of? If I dared to receive abundance, what would change in my life? How do I want to feel when money is flowing easily to me? These questions are keys. They open emotional doors you may have kept closed for years. And when opened with compassion, they let light in. You may discover that beneath the fear of success is the fear of leaving others behind. Or that receiving abundance brings up guilt, as if joy must be earned. Let it rise. Let it speak. You don't need to fix it all today. You just need to witness it. Healing is not about perfection. It's about awareness. And this level of awareness of who you're becoming, of what no longer belongs in your energy field, is the very thing that creates space for the wealth, love, and clarity that are already circling you. The universe does not withhold blessings. It simply waits for readiness. And so, Leo, your task now is not to fight for your future but to clear the space for it. Release the thought that says you must strive. Replace it with the knowing that says you must align. In that alignment, miracles don't feel like surprises. They feel like returns. Returns to what was always meant for you, the moment you decided to believe again. There's a timeless rhythm woven into the fabric of every great story, and Leo, your story has always carried the resonance of something greater. Not louder, greater. It is the kind of story that moves quietly through the soul, leaving golden threads of courage, vision, and unshakable heart behind. You were never meant to follow. You were never designed to dim. The essence of your sign, ruled by the blazing heart of the sun, has always been that of the one who dares to lead not with domination, but with devotion. You are not simply a lion. You are the warmth that others gather around, the spark that gives others permission to ignite. But even the brightest flame flickers. Even the fiercest heart forgets its own power. And that's where stories become medicine. Imagine for a moment that we're sitting not in front of a screen, but around a sacred fire. The stars above us are silent witnesses. And I begin to tell you this: once upon a time, in every great era, there was always one soul who stepped forward when others paused. Not because they had all the answers, but because they had one thing: readiness. Readiness to say yes to the unknown. Readiness to hold the light when others weren't sure it was safe to hope. Readiness to walk forward when the path hadn't been lit yet. Leo, this week, that soul is you. You are standing at the edge of something sacred. Behind you are the stories that shaped you, the triumphs, the pain, the near breakthroughs, the quiet losses no one saw. And ahead of you? A golden gate, radiant and waiting. You don't need to force it open. You already hold the key. It has always been in your hand, in the form of your willingness, your belief, and now, quite literally, these 6 golden numbers. But keys are not meant to be admired. They are meant to be used. And in this moment, the universe is not demanding your perfection. It's simply asking, are you willing to step through? The archetype of the lion has been revered in cultures and cosmologies across time, not just as a symbol of strength, but as a protector of truth. The lion doesn't roar to intimidate. The lion roars to awaken. And the Leo who is ready to lead does so not because they crave power, but because they've learned how to listen. To their own heart. To divine timing. To the subtle signals that whisper, now is the time. There is a kind of bravery that isn't loud. It's the bravery of sitting with uncertainty and saying, even if I don't know exactly where this road leads, I trust that I was made for it. That kind of courage changes not only your path, it changes the energetic architecture of those around you. When you rise, others rise. When you choose growth, you become the lighthouse others didn't know they needed. And when you finally choose to believe in your worth not as an idea, but as a fact, you unlock a frequency that has been waiting patiently to bless you. So as you stand here, in this metaphorical space between the past and the promise, take a breath. Feel the weight of your own becoming. Let the 6 numbers you've received be more than digits. Let them become a symbol of your agreement with life. Your agreement to no longer shrink. To no longer wait. To no longer ask for proof that you are enough. You are. This isn't just about fortune or material wealth. This is about reclaiming authorship of your story. You are not just a character inside it. You are the voice that chooses where the next chapter goes. So go ahead. Imagine the golden gate opening. Imagine the ground beneath your feet firm and blessed. Imagine yourself stepping forward not with fear, but with the calm knowing that everything you've walked through was leading to this moment. And now that you've arrived, what will you choose to do with it? Thank you for staying with me through this sacred journey. I want to speak to your heart, Leo, not the one that beats out of habit, but the one that remembers why you came here in the first place. Everything you've heard today is not just a message to consummate a doorway. And whether you choose to walk through it or simply admire it from a distance, that choice is always yours. No one can live your transformation for you. No one can unlock the gates of abundance, peace, and purpose on your behalf. But you, yes, you can choose this moment to be the one where everything begins to shift. Maybe you've been waiting for a clearer sign. Maybe you've needed someone to tell you that it's okay to start, even if you don't feel fully ready. But here's the deeper truth: readiness rarely feels like certainty. It feels more like a quiet yes in the chest. It feels like curiosity nudging you to take just one step further. So I want to ask you something, gently but clearly. What if this moment, right now, is not an ending but a divine ignition? You've learned about the power of numbers. You've felt the resonance in your body. You've heard your own intuition whispering beneath every word. Now, the question is, what will you do with what you've been given? Will you write those numbers down, not just as digits but as declarations of who you are becoming? Will you carry them close, meditate with them, align your actions with them, not because they hold magic, but because you do? Will you pause each day to re-choose your path, to remember your strength, to soften where you once tensed, and to act where you once froze? What small ritual will you begin today to honor the bigness of who you are? What limiting belief are you ready to release so that abundance doesn't have to shout to reach you? And if you're feeling the pull to speak your readiness aloud, then say it now, or write it in the comments below: I activate the golden code within me. Or, I am the fulfillment of the prophecy. Because when you name it, you bring it out of the ether and into form. And there's no power greater than that of a soul who speaks with alignment. Before we close, let me say this with the fullness of my heart: your presence here is not taken for granted. Every like you offer, every comment you share, every moment you choose to subscribe or return to eternal mindfulness, these are not small acts. They are sacred agreements that allow this space to continue to exist, to grow, and to reach those who are still searching for the light you've just received. So thank you, truly, for walking this path with me today. Thank you for choosing to pause, to listen, to reflect. And if something stirred in you, whether it was a number, a phrase, or a deep sense of recognition, I want you to name it. Don't let this experience live only in your mind. Let it live in your actions. Before you go, I'd love to know, which of the 6 numbers today spoke to you the most? Which one mirrored where you are, or pointed to where you want to be? Let me know in the comments below, because the universe doesn't just listen through stars and symbols. Sometimes, it listens through the words you dare to share. I'll be here, always, guiding with intention, with compassion, and with the knowing that you are more powerful than you've been told. This is eternal mindfulness. And this is only the beginning.